Back to Tarot by the Bay, I'm David, and that is Nico. Even if you can't really see him, let me lighten him up for you. Two beans. Wink. There's a cat there. All right, let me bring it back down. All right. So Trump made an illegal executive order today, which halted funding to programs like Medicaid and others. And it's going to be an opening salvo of cuts that you can expect to see from the Republicans. The Republicans right now are in the Doral Golf Course, which is one of Trump's golf courses. And they're discussing the budget that they're putting together, that they're trying to get through on a single, I'll give you more cat time, like in a single bill. Expect that they're going to go after social programs, Medicare, Medicaid. They might try and mess around with the fringes of Social Security, but it's going to be more Medicare, Medicaid, Head Start programs, funding for public television and NPR, that sort of thing. That's kind of what they're going to go for here, at least this time around. They have to balance. You've got budget hawks that want to balance budget to help pay down the debt that we have, and you've got other MAGA folks that want Trump to do all the things that Trump said he was going to do. That's going to cost a lot of money, and they're not going to be able to balance the budget, give the tax cuts to the wealthy that they want to do, and put on all these programs. They just can't. Not with a three-man advantage. So they might go through some other ways to try and get this budget through. Not really going to read on the budget per se. There was a woman I was watching on TikTok. She had voted for Trump in the last election. She was quite happy that he won and Kamala didn't win. And, even had posted up that, yeah, he's a 34-time felon, but who cares? He's our president, and she's doing her little dance. She owned the libs for about 2.5 months. She was happy as a clam because the libs got owned, and all the stress and anxiety that the libs went through, I'm sure she relished every minute of it. She got a notice today, I believe from the state of Michigan, because I think that's where she lives, that is now removing her welfare payments, removing her Section 8 housing payments, removing her food stamps that she has for the 6 children that she has. She says she's on disability and doesn't work. She has 6 kids and collects several $1,000s a month in government aid to, pay for her rent, pay for her food, for her kids. And she was really upset that she had lost access to all this because guess what? The government wants her to work 35 hours a week to maintain some of those benefits that she has. And she doesn't want to work. Can't say I blame her when you got 6 kids. That's a handful there, but just saying you made some life choices there. And at the end of this video where she's just absolutely sobbing and emotional, I'm hoping it's not play acting. I'm sure it's quite traumatic if she did lose these things. She was wondering if she made a mistake in voting for Trump. Really? I'm wondering if you made a mistake. I can help you with that answer if you like, but the fact of the matter is you've got some MAGA supporter, big Trump supporter, celebrated owning the libs, was way more concerned about trans people being in her bathroom than, the rhetoric of the GOP saying they wanted to cut programs that helped disadvantaged people. She's now suffering the consequences of her choices. She's in the find out stage. And I mentioned on Taco Tuesday with Marina that my brother Marina and I were on Heart Center Tarot. You can find it on her channel. That it's because of MAGA that we are in the situation that we are in as a collective. Generally speaking, I would say the people watching this channel, they didn't want to go through another Trump administration. They wanted Kamala in there. It was a gentler path, and we would rise up through joy and come out the tunnel using joy and happiness and enthusiasm and optimism. But there are plenty of people in the collective that, nope, they wanted to go through the darkest, nastiest, cruelest path possible. And as a collective, we are being pulled down that path. I describe it as walking on Legos barefoot. It is going to be painful and miserable, and I'm still mildly, more than mildly, resentful that we are being forced to walk down this path because a certain group of people had to be their nastiest, most awful selves, and the only way they are going to learn an ounce of empathy is to be put into a really painful, awful situation where they are going to have to reach out for help from people they would rather vilify. Because the only way they're going to learn empathy is to suffer themselves. And as a bonus, we all get to suffer too. That was one MAGA person who is now regretting her vote. And it just seems like we're going to have to basically pick these people off one at a time to bring them onto the woke side of life. It's not woke, unless you call the teachings of Jesus woke or something like that, which they are. It's called being sympathetic to people, being empathetic to people, wanting to help people out that are being marginalized or put down or, need a helping hand, as opposed to spitting on them and telling them to pick them up by their bootstraps. Well, she gets to live the life that she wanted to force on other people. And I'm here for that. Blame the brown people. Always blaming the brown people. So let's look at MAGA. Sorry for a long intro here. Let's look at MAGA and see, are they starting to learn their lesson? Is this the lesson for MAGA? Is this the find out stage? Okay. Entertainment purposes only. What do we got going on with MAGA in this? And right back up on the top, even though I put that card in the middle of the deck and shuffled around, the Six of Swords. They have to learn to move away from this. You can't blame the immigrants. The immigrants do all the hard labor that we don't want to do. And Trump is going to rock the boat. He's going to rock what normally got you and your kids across the way is absolutely going to get rocked. You have the choice to stay or leave if you want. I know a lot of good-hearted people want to leave this country because they think it's going to go to hell in a handbasket. Crossed with the King of Pentacles. The oligarchs, the worshipping of money. The oligarchs are going to continue to make life hard for women and children. That's just what they're going to do. Why? For the grift. They want more money. With the Medicaid thing that happened today, I think it's because they want to privatize government health care. They want to get out of the government's hands and they want to give it in the private hands. Just like they want to do with Social Security, just like they want to do with the post office. That's how the oligarchs work, is by taking big government programs and then privatizing them. And then they make all the money off of that. Queen of Wands in the past. Again, my wife's going to hate me for this. But this is kind of that Republican GOP MAGA energy of we're willing to find out. We want you to take action that hurts immigrants, because folks like Elon and Donald Trump told us that's what we wanted to do. And now MAGA is in the finding out stage. They're starting. No, this is the Wheel of Fortune. This is karma. This is, things are starting to happen, progressing that they weren't expecting to have happen. It's funny. The World card is the Wheel of Fortune when it stops. They're finding out, and they're going to find out. This administration, this time of Trump, these next 2 years, 4 years, however long he's in the office with these Republicans, this is what's going to bring an end to Trumpism, the oligarchs, the worshiping of money, their plans. Either we're going to go to an autocracy, an oligarchy, and a kleptocracy, or we're going to pull out of it. And right now, what you need are the MAGA folks to let go of MAGA. The lesson to be learned: instead of being nasty, you need to be nice. They're going to have to turn to they're going to have to turn to the community with hat in hand, looking for help to put food on their table, to feed their young ones, for the health care for them and their young ones. Back to basics, kitchen table type issues. That's what they're going to learn from this. The King of Pentacles is all about the money, the wealth, the power, the control. The Queen of Pentacles is about the practicality. Realizing you don't need to be a gazillionaire to live comfortably. But these folks want to be gazillionaires. So how do you move away from that? The outcome is justice. This is what they wanted. This is what they wanted. They just thought it was going to only hurt immigrants or transsexual people or transgender people. They didn't think it was going to come back and get them. But that's the funny thing about karma. Comes around, goes around. It's going to go full circle, and it's going to land in their lap. And they brought it on themselves for supporting people who worship money and want to rip them off. People who do not have their best interests at heart. That's what's happening with MAGA. Unfortunately, we have to go on this walk with them. Most of us would have just rather have sat on the side and say, hey, y'all want to be crazy and walk on Legos barefoot? You knock yourselves out. We know it hurts. We don't feel the need to do this. Maybe our Legos won't be quite as sharp as theirs. Because that's the other thing, and I want to read on that too. Will MAGA suffer worse for this? It's kind of like the when you point your finger, 3 long fingers point back at you type of thing. They want other people to suffer. That is some low energy stuff. And, if you put out there that you want other people to suffer, all you're going to do is attract that suffering right back to yourself. It may not be right away, but you're going to attract it back to yourself. And it will come back tenfold. At least spiritually, that's how it works. But let's see what the cards have to say. Will MAGA suffer more because of them wanting to punish others? Is that going to lead to them suffering more? 4-carder on that one. 5 of Swords. Yeah. You want to. This is winning at all costs. Narcissism. Congratulations. You drive everyone away, and then you're alone. You wonder why nobody wants to play with you. There's the 7 of Wands, the Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups. Okay, here's the thing. What they're looking for is 100% victory. They want everybody who's not them to go away. It's a bully move. You're being bullies. And that's kind of what they want. But life has a way. Life is going to win. Karma's going to win. Light is going to win on the end. Because light is stronger than the darkness. Light is always offering you that friendship. Trying to bring you in and give you an advantage. And it's funny because here they are fighting against the very people that are trying to look out for their best interests. I was asking if they're going to suffer more than the non-MAGAs. The answer is yes, and here's how you get to the yes on this one. When life has defeated them, they're going to have to reach out when basically they are going to need a helping hand when they've been defeated. And they have to reach out. And they have to reach out to people that aren't going to scream at them. This is like, this is them wanting to get rid of all the entitlements, and then all of a sudden, when they have nothing left, they have to go with their cup in hand and say, I need help. The humility that's going to come with that. And will they be humbled? Will they be turned away or accepted? Maybe this is more the message for us. When we've won and we've overpowered them, we are the ones who have to offer them the hand of friendship if we want to overcome the darkness. And we have to quell our own emotions to make it safe for them to come in and get helped. But once they're helped, they will be on our side. I think that's where this is going. This is not a message for them. It's a message for us. Sorry, starting to get all holier than thou, and then Spirit comes around and says, yeah, no, come on, you got to be a nicer person than that. Otherwise, you're just them in reverse. Because it's kind of like, oh, you made us suffer, so now I'm going to make your life miserable. And pull them down into your dark little hole of misery. Because you want company. That's what they're doing to others. They're miserable, unhappy people, and they want others, rather than pull themselves up, find a way out of their little miserable dens, they'd rather pull people in and make them miserable too. It's such a crappy way of doing it. In the next 2 years, do enough MAGA folks, do enough people who voted for Trump, have they had enough and are willing to remove him or at least get the Republicans out of power? There's going to be a new movement. There's a strong energy about that. Kind of the Elon card. Want to be working fast. Yeah, there's going to be the kitchen table issues. It's almost like, you promised us that you were going to lower the price of eggs and you didn't do it. You said that we're going to be wealthier and all you told us were lies. When it happens, it's going to happen quickly. When they decide to turn on Congress, you know when it's going to happen? It's not even going to be 2 years. When Congress passes their budget and they get to see what the oligarchs have in store, their opinions on this group, on the Republicans, are going to change very quickly because they were told one thing. How many times did the Republicans say they weren't going to touch Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid or any of those things? When that budget comes through, the Republicans will try and spin it that, they had to tighten the belt because of the free spending Democrats. It's all the Democrats' fault and yada, yada, yada. Trying to keep the anger on the Democrats. But they're in charge of Congress. They're in charge of the presidency. They're the ones making the cuts. They can try and spin it and say it's not their fault they have to make those cuts. But I don't know. It's one thing conceptually to say, oh, yeah, they can cut Social Security. That's fine. I got no problem with that. They can lower Medicare payments. I'm okay with that. They can reduce benefits. But when it hits you personally, it's going to cost you more money, it goes out of the hypothetical and into reality. And right now, the MAGA, the Trump supporters, have been living in hypothetical, Earth 2, where they haven't had to really suffer the consequences of their choices. And right now, they are beginning to suffer the consequences of their choices. Our job is to just allow. That doesn't mean we don't fight, we don't resist, we don't throw sand in the gears to slow everything down, but we don't save MAGA from themselves. They need to go through this lesson. The whole collective has to go through this lesson because this group of people needs to go through this lesson, and they are part of the collective. And since they are part of the collective, they drag us all in there with them. If we save them from this lesson, we spend more time in this lesson. So let them learn. That doesn't mean you can't be generous. You can have empathy, you can have generosity, you can give support, you can give love and light and all those things, but they have to go through it to the point where they reject it. And when they reject it, that's when you can bring them in and we can start moving this collective out of there. The more they suffer, the faster they suffer, the more intense they suffer, the quicker we get out of this. It sounds cruel. Kim from Intuitive View said it best. It's like a codependent relationship. You just got to give them tough love. They need to suffer. They have to hit rock bottom. And then they have to be too tired once they hit rock bottom to start digging. They have to hit rock bottom and hit hard so that they don't dig. So that they realize that they've been their own worst enemy and that the only person who can fix it is themselves. They can get help, but they are the ones who need to fix it. Let them. Allow. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.